Manifestation Pod. We are Louise and Sam, two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives through friendship, self-improvement, manifestation, the law of attraction, and a little bit of the magic. We look forward to you joining us on our fortnightly podcast.
Good morning. Welcome to episode 11 of the Manifestation Pod. We're here on a lovely sunny bank holiday Monday with me and Sam, and today we're going to be talking about when manifestation goes wrong or when manifestation doesn't happen. What do we do? We've got all the answers for you. But first, as ever, we'll do a little catch up. How are you, Sam?
Hello, I am doing good, thank you. Yeah, it's nice that we're doing this on a bank holiday Monday. Nice to get an extra day, isn't it, to do some little bits. And yeah, we're nearly at the end of the summer holidays, dare I say it. Mixed feelings, but yeah, I think we're about a week off now, aren't we? Everything kind of going back to normal and all of that. So trying to make the most of it, really, trying to be in the moment and not wish this week away and rush it, because, you know, it's too easy to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I'm off this week, and we're not going on holiday. We have got a week at home. And in 10 years of having a child, I've never, ever booked a week off and had a week at home. So I'm really looking forward to it.
That'll be new and exciting.
I know. I mean, we've got days out planned and things, but not loads of stuff. I've not jam-packed everything in, so I'm feeling very relaxed about the last week of the school holidays, because I do feel, possibly for the first time ever, I've got time to do everything. So yeah, be interesting to see on the next pod whether that actually happens, because usually the first week back at school, we've not got tights, we've not got the right shoes. I'm not that organised, so yeah, we'll see. I'm feeling positive this week that it's all going to work out well.
Excellent. It's nice to see you with like dry hair, because when I saw you last, we were soaking wet in a car park in our local park.
Oh my God, Saturday, yes, absolutely drenched. However, talk about turning things round. So I left you, took Charlotte to her dad's, who actually was stuck in traffic. So when I rang him, with you when I rang him? I can't remember. Anyway, he was like 10 minutes from his house. I was at least half an hour away. So I thought he'd be there when I got there, and he wasn't. But his mother-in-law was. So I was stood talking to her, and she said, "Oh, if you two been swimming?" So I said, "No, we've just been to the park. We got this wet." And then Henry and Gemma turned up, and Gemma went, "Oh, Louise, have you been swimming?" And I went, "No, just been to the park in the rain." But Saturday night, so I went out Saturday night, which is why we're doing the pod today, because Madam had a hangover yesterday. If you want to see what I look like on Saturday night, there is a picture on the Manifestation Pod Insta page, because in my drunkenness, I thought I was looking amazing. I thought I'll take a picture, I'll put it on, saying we're doing the pod tomorrow, I'll be fine with a hangover. And then the next day I looked at the picture and I was like, I don't look amazing, I look drunk. Yeah, and I was too ill to do the pod yesterday. I wasn't even ill. I was still drunk at 1:30 yesterday afternoon. I drank far too much. But the good thing about the wet hair was I left you, I got home, I was exhausted. I needed something to eat, made some food, was going out at about 7:30, and I fell asleep on the sofa with wet hair. And when I woke up, it looked fabulous. I went out with curly hair on Saturday night, and it looked amazing.
Early rain hair, I love it.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, you just have days where your hair goes right, and then when you try and replicate it, you can't do it at all. That happens. So yeah, I went out with great hair on Saturday night.
I love it. Absolutely love it. My Saturday night was nowhere near as exciting. All I could think about was like getting those wet clothes off and getting something warm and comfy on after that. Just like a really cozy movie night. But yeah, what a funny Saturday. We never get caught in the rain like that, do we? We got caught in 2 absolute crazy downpours.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. It was fun though. It was just
It
hilarious.
was. I've not been that wet from rain in years. It was ridiculous. It was literally running down my face. Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, it was nice to have a catch up on Saturday with the girls.
Yeah, it was. And it kind of blends into what we're talking about today in a way. Because if you think, if that morning of that day we'd manifested like this amazing day in the park, like we normally have, like really long,
Yeah,
sunny, beautiful day, and that didn't come off at all. But we still had a great day. We just rolled with it. And, we ended up going trampolining with the girls, didn't we, instead? And we tried
yeah,
to park again and the rain came again. But those can be some of like the most perfect, funniest days when what doesn't happen that you expect to happen. Something else comes from it, doesn't it?
it really does. And yeah, while the girls were trampolining, which wasn't part of the plan for the day, we got to have a proper catch up.
Yeah, yeah, we did.
And yeah, I felt like we had a great day on Saturday, even though we didn't really do that much. It was nice. So yeah, and I had great hair to go out with,
Yeah,
and didn't have to wash it again because that was my biggest fear. I'd have to wash my hair twice in one day, which just from a time management point of view seemed ridiculous. But yeah, I went out with the curly hair.
nice.
Well, that's it. And then today, so when things go wrong, we've just had technical problems recording this. This has
Yes.
been quite difficult. I've got a microphone, so I hope everyone can hear the sounds better. But it took me ages to set that up and it's still not done right, but I'll do it later. But this morning, I got up early. I did all the bits that I wanted to do before we did this. I've done a food shop. I fell down the steps in the garden and I've like grazed both knees. I look like a child. I don't even know how I did it, but I literally took a tumble this morning and I just grabbed onto a lavender bush to break my fall. But you've just said that Mercury is in retrograde again, which I did know, but it does feel like something's going on at the moment.
Yeah. So it's not just Mercury, it's 7 planets in retrograde
Wow.
at the moment,
Wow.
which is a really unusual occurrence. And it's going to be the same for the next 7 days. So just go carefully.
Yeah, I will do. Because as well, what happened? Oh my God, I've not even told you this. What happened Saturday? And this is definitely the planet being weird. Something's in the air. My car got struck by lightning while I was charging it, and my charger's broke. It's like broke my charger.
An electric car struck by lightning.
That could literally happen to me, but yeah, it did. Luckily, no one was in it at the time. But yeah, and it's not broke the car; it's just broke the because I charged it when I got home, and I was in two minds because it was torrential rain whether it would be safe charging it. But I did a Google, it's like it's completely safe. Water can't get into any of the elements of the charger, so I was like, all right, fair enough. And then I Googled because it started lightning. Can you charge your car during thunder and lightning? It was like, yeah, absolutely. And I was feeling a bit ridiculous that I'd even Googled that. But yeah, my car got struck by lightning. So directly after the pod, I need to ring Minnie and find out where I've got no charge. Because I had no charge on my car on Saturday and I was driving like Miss Daisy, really slowly to try and charge it. Well, because it got struck by lightning at tea time on Saturday, it's still not charged. So I can't go anywhere in it.
Yeah, you really need to sort that out, don't you? Or at least you're laughing about it. That's just bizarre, isn't it? Struck by lightning. Wow.
It is bizarre. But again, every cloud, like literally every cloud, Charlotte is going to her friends for lunch and a play date and a sleepover. I don't know who's more excited, her or me. But we can't drive there, so I'm going to have to walk her there, and it's a fair old trek. But because I was slightly hungover / drunk yesterday, I did no exercise. So yeah, every cloud, we're going to get a good walk in later.
Nice. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So manifestation fails, or when manifestation goes wrong, that's what we're diving into today, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and I came up with this a couple of weeks ago, just after the last pod, I think, as our next topic, because I was thinking about how there was this self-development course in London a few weeks ago that I'd had my eye on for ages, and it was like, I think it was like £500 or something for the day, so nothing like major. And at the beginning of the summer, I thought, right, how am I going to find that £500? I'm not budgeted for it, I'm not accounted for it. I need to literally find that £500 from somewhere else to get to that course. Um, so I started manifesting it, I was thinking about what the day would be like, envisioning it. And then, I launched my new business with the Yoga Nidra business. And I thought, right, this is going to be where the £500 is going to come from. I'm going to launch this product. I'm going to get 56 people to buy it, or however many I needed to get to the £500, and this is going to be it. I'm going to be there in London in a few weeks' time. It's going to be amazing. Like you do, dead optimistic. And then 2 people bought the products. But, like, I wasn't upset by that, or like, I don't know, I was just really neutral after the event, because obviously I've just launched a new business. I haven't grown my audience. I haven't worked on this immensely. I'm still testing it out. And obviously then it didn't have the the new budget to go on this course, but I'm just such a believer in like trusting and surrendering to the fact that that didn't happen for whatever reason. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't for me. And yeah, I just felt like really neutral and okay about it. And I just thought it was really important to talk about how, your manifestations, they don't always happen. They don't always come to fruition. And there's loads of reasons why, but the less kind of emotion and things you can put into the outcome being exactly as you want it at exactly the right time, the better things come to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. And it could be like it was just a shit course. I'm not saying it was, but it could be that it wasn't worth £500. So you're being protected from spending that money unnecessarily. And there might be something that while you've got £500 in your mind, it might come to you in other ways, and you might need that exact amount for something else. And I always think in the moment as well, you don't know, and sometimes that is disappointing. If you do want something, like you said, you felt neutral about it. But sometimes if you really do want something, you don't get it. It's difficult not to feel disappointed, particularly if you visualised it and you are absolutely set on having it. It is really disappointing, but you can't always see the reason for it until much, much later. Yeah. And I think, it's important to, do exactly what you did. You just take it in your stride. And I applied for a promotion at work last September, I think it was, and I was absolutely convinced I was going to get it, and not in an arrogant way, but I felt like, this sounds arrogant saying it, but I'll say it anyway because I'm nothing but honest. I just felt like I deserved it, and I was the absolute obvious choice. That's how I felt. I knew I could do the job. I visualised it. I worked really hard for the interview. There was it was like a 2-stage process. I did loads and loads of work for it anyway. Convinced myself I was going to get it, to the point that when my manager told me I hadn't got it, I burst into tears in the middle of the office. Which, if anyone knows me, is not like me at all. But it was because I couldn't believe the words were coming out of her mouth, because I fully expected her to say, "Louise, I'm really pleased to tell you you've got the job." And I wasn't prepared for her saying, and her exact words were, "Oh, you've just been pipped to the post." And I was just like, what do you mean? I can't have been. That was mine. That's how I felt. So I cried. She looked horrified. And I was like, I'm all right. I wasn't. I was really upset. It was ridiculous. It was really emotional. It wasn't even businessy. I just felt really, really upset. So I worked from home the rest of the day. However, and I couldn't see the good in that. I was like, I deserve it. I really, really want it. Anyway, one I found out within 2 weeks later, and I have to say, because some work people listen to this, the person that did get it is really, really good. Like, she's amazing. So it was nothing against her at all. There was like, I think 2 of us in the running for it. But immediately afterwards, I found out I'd have lost my car. You don't get a car in that position for some bizarre reason. And I've got a company car, so I'd have lost my car, which would have been devastating because one, I love it, and two, I'd have had to buy a new car, which would have kind of, it's a bit counterintuitive for what I was trying to achieve at the time, because buying a new car was not anywhere near my list. But now I am going part-time. In fact, I am part-time because I'm off next week, and then the week after I start my new part-time hours. If I got that job, I would never have done this because I need to remember where I am in life and what my biggest goals are. I've done this before. I've been at the top of a career ladder I didn't even want to be on. It just happened. And had I got that job, there's no way I'd have reduced my hours because I'd have been back on that career path of what's next. And as much as, and I love my job, I do, I love my job. I love the people I work with. I don't ever want to leave. But I love the job that I'm in. I don't want a promotion at work. I don't want to be managing people. I don't want to be, I know exactly what I want to do. And I just got sidetracked by the promise of bigger and better. And I thought that that's what I wanted. And now I've really had time to reflect on that. That job would have been not for me because it would have took me back to a place where I was a long time ago and I never want to be again in that rat race. I'm not in that rat race anymore. I live for me, not for work. I'm ambitious myself, but I'm not career driven in the corporate world, if you like. So yeah, that's my take from that. And lots of good things have happened that would not have happened if I got that job.
Yeah. Which takes us to that old saying that we use between us now, which I think I got from Gabby Bernstein, if I'm honest. Rejection is protection. When
it is.
Yeah. So you not getting that job protected you from so much that you didn't need and want in your life.
Exactly. I didn't need or want it. It was, and it felt a little bit, if I'm being really honest, because I've done loads of work this year on like my thought process and the decision making for things. And a lot of it, not so much now, not like years ago, but my ego was at play there. I wanted to be a manager again. And I feel like because I used to be at the top of my game and now I'm not, sometimes I forget that I made that choice. I chose when I had Charlotte to not be a career person anymore and to be at home. I've took that child to school every day of her school life. She's never had to go to breakfast club or anywhere. She's never needed childcare in the mornings because I take her to school and that was my choice. And you make that choice. And I think sometimes it's easy to get carried away or sidetracked because I feel like as women, we are kind of told to, we can have it all, we can have the career, we can be the mum, we can, do cooking from scratch at home, we can be all of these things. And actually we can't. You can, but there's a cost to that. And I know I've been there. So yeah, and I think I just need to remember the path that I'm on and not get sidetracked by these lovely things that are thrown at me sometimes, like, oh, more money, oh, a manager title. I mean, that's really what it was about, the title, if I'm being really honest.
I think we're also sold the story that the only way that we can make more money is through a job and through a salary, which is
exactly
100%
it's not true.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, I've literally only learned that lesson myself in the last year or two properly, that that's just a trap and conditioning really that we're sold, isn't it? To keep us in that world and keep us on the hamster wheel. Whereas, objectively looking at what you're achieving, with your business as well as work everything you've got going on with your money goals, like you are absolutely top of your game. You're 100% top of your game. It's the conditioning of the outer world that says, you're only at the top of your game if you're like managing director level in a corporate world, that makes it feel like you're not at the top of your game.
That's exactly it. And I think being in the corporate world for as long as I was, I definitely feel like that. I definitely feel like, I mean, sometimes, yeah, it just having, although it's only just starting and I've really wanted it, a part-time job. But I do feel there's a bit of stigma attached to that, I work part-time and I'm a mum. That doesn't say anything about me or who I am. And I don't want people to think of me like that. But then I start digging, why don't I want people to think of me like that? What's wrong with that? I'm happier than I've ever been in my entire life. I have been all year, because I feel like I know who I am, I know what I want, and I know how I'm going to get it. That's it in a nutshell. And what I don't want is to be earning loads of money in the corporate world. I don't. That isn't what I want. I know what I want to do. And yeah, I've read The Alchemist recently. Have you read The Alchemist?
No, I fancy it though.
How have you not ever read that? You'd love it. Yeah. Kerry got me into it. It's one book I've always meant to read and haven't. And she lent it me. And it's a tale about a shepherd who goes on a journey. And it's essentially, about other things. He's on a journey, he knows what he wants, but things keep tempting him to come off that path. And it's about staying on the path. There's another book called The Road Less Travelled, which I think I read in the 90s, about like making your own way in the world. And I think anyone who knows me knows that I don't really conform, and I very much do my own thing. But yeah, that's the path that I want. So I think when we are disappointed by things that we want, sometimes it's about digging deep and thinking, do we really want them? And I'd say to anyone I've always had that silver lining kind of ethos, that if anything goes wrong in my life, I just go, well, what can I learn from that? What is the silver lining? Because honestly, there is always something. And I genuinely believe that. I'm not just saying it, I do believe I can find the good in any situation. I don't know if it was you I was talking to. It might have been Sarah on Saturday night when we were out, but we were talking about when I got married, what an absolute shit show that was, and what a disaster it was afterwards, and what a bad place I was in. And I'm so grateful for that, because if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have took a look at my life and thought, how the hell did I get to this point? And made loads of changes personally. I became a completely different person. That in turn, I would never have had a baby if that hadn't have happened. And I had Charlotte, who is my absolute world. And I wouldn't have all the good things in life that I have, that I truly value. I wouldn't have had any of that without that marriage, that on the surface is like the worst thing that ever happened to me. So I think there's good in everything, isn't there? And I think if you look at life that way, even though it is really disappointing when you really want something and you've kind of worked hard for it and you're manifesting like a mad person, it just is what it is. Everything flows and ebbs and flows, doesn't it? There's another phrase about what's meant for you will come to you, something like that, and I believe that as well.
Yeah, I wrote that down actually before we started. What's meant for you is sent to you.
Oh, that's even better because it rhymes. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, and it can't miss you and all of that. So, I had a similar job situation in my old job where I was like absolutely convinced it was mine. I think even the people that were interviewing me were like, "This is your job, this is your job," and then I didn't get it. And it's just bizarre, isn't it? It is bizarre, but oh my God, I like really didn't want that job. I was just, it was not the right job for me at all. And I remember being so bitterly disappointed. But if you start listening to these things that happen that you really want and they don't come to fruition, and you do look for the lessons in them and just really trust in what's coming next for you is what's right for you, then you can't lose. Like, you really can't. I wish I'd known that so many years ago.
Me too.
So many things that happened or don't come to fruition in younger life, if you'd known that, they would have been so much easier to deal with.
Yeah, they would. Loads of things that I know now I wish I'd known when I was younger. But then I always live with no regrets, because your 20s aren't for knowing all this, are they? They're for having fun and not really caring that much about the bigger picture. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Another part of manifestation is sometimes being careful what you wish for, because it can come true. Sometimes it comes true in a really weird way that you don't particularly want it to come true in. But the other thing, and this is breaking news that I actually forgot to tell you on Saturday, but sometimes things come true in a very different way that you weren't expecting, and it just comes like a bolt out of the blue. And you're nodding, so I know that you've been in this situation as well. But what have we always talked about doing as a business? Maybe not even together, but we've always talked about the dream would be having a bookshop and a coffee shop kind of combined, and maybe, it growing from there and having like-minded people coming in, and, a bit of yoga and a bit of this and a bit of that. So me and Ian have had a conversation about getting premises to have a wellbeing centre. It's on hold at the moment because he's buggered off to Bristol. But I'm seeing him this week at some point, so we'll talk about that. But not got the funds at the moment. It's not top of the list, but it's there. But what happened last week? Me and Charlotte have been offered a job working, which is our local.
Oh, having a little technical blip on the pod.
You went there?
Yeah, we had
a glitch.
We had a total glitch, and I got to, you and Charlotte got offered a job where?
Oh, you didn't even get that, love it. At Pad.
Oh, at Pad.
Yeah, in the coffee shop on a Saturday morning.
You love that place.
I know, I love that place. So this place is a charity shop, but it's not like a normal charity shop. Like, for example, it's called Pad because it's in a nightclub that used to be called Pad, that was in my local town. It's a massive charity shop, and upstairs is a coffee shop with shelves and shelves and shelves of books. And I did think about this a while ago. I had a business idea about it. But anyway, yeah, me and Charlotte went in as we've not been in for ages, actually. We used to go in quite a lot because I just love it in there. I love looking at the books. And we spoke to a guy, and the coffee shop wasn't open. I was like, why is your shop not open? It's Saturday. And he said, we can't get any staff. I was like, that's such a shame. It's an amazing place. You do great food. You do lovely cakes. And he went, are you interested? And I went, in what? And he went, working here, volunteering. And I was like, I said, not really. I've got a child, and Saturdays are our only full day together. And he went, she can wash up, she can add up, can't she? I was like, oh. And then Charlotte obviously was like, oh, can we, Mum? Can we? So I'm thinking about that. The person who I need to speak to, the manager, is away. She's on holiday for a fortnight. So I've got a fortnight to think about that. But I'm having lots of ideas about this.
Yeah, that is interesting. Really.
Yeah.
I bet Charlotte's well up for it.
Oh, Charlotte's telling people, honestly, you know what she's like. She tells people before it's even happened. So yeah, that's something that I've got to think about for the next couple of weeks. But I just think it's such a lovely place to be. It's a Saturday morning, and although that's cutting into our time, it'd be me and her still spending time together doing something completely different. I always thought about that place as you could really grow that upstairs into a really nice meeting place for people and to get people through the door. Because the thing is, as well, if you actually walk through the charity shop to get to the coffee shop upstairs, which you have to do, the stuff they have for sale, I mean, people take decent stuff there. It's really nice. So they're going to get more footfall. So yeah, I'm thinking about that.
Ooh, exciting. See, but you just don't know, do you? You don't need to manifest like another outcome. You just, keep all your goals in mind, keep in the flow of life and these things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, exactly that, and just float through life.
So true. So very true. Awesome. So that was manifestation fails. Don't sweat it, people. Something bigger and better is coming. That was absolutely meant for you. Were you going to do some little shout outs at the end?
Yeah, so just a little update on the pod for anybody that might be interested. I'm definitely interested. I'm all over this. So we have had 707 downloads since we first published. Interesting.
707.
Yeah, 707. That's a good
Great,
number.
just the numerology. Yeah, it's like, wow.
But it looks like in July there was 300 and something. 300 and 213 downloads, and August there's been 269. So basically we've gone, I'm doing a picture that nobody can see because we're not actually on TV, but we've done a little steady line with little bumps, and now we're just going up. So that's good. We need to keep that going. But what I wanted to shout out was some of the locations where you listeners live are really exciting to me, because me and Sam talked about this on Saturday. I don't know anybody from these areas. So we'd like to invite people. One of our listeners did reach out at the end of the last pod, we should say. We forgot about that. Yeah, we got a lovely message on Instagram saying that she'd heard our pod, she was listening to it there and then, and yeah, she was saying hey. So hey, we got a lovely message for her from it, which I'm just actually trying to find. Yes, Abby. Abby messaged us a lovely message and said, and I'm going to quote from this, I'm sure she won't mind. I love that you guys are mum friends, down to earth and relatable. Listen to this, I love this bit. It's like having a little weekly catch up with some mum friends. Oh my God, that's all we ever want, isn't it? We want people to feel like they're our friends, because I feel like our listeners could be our friends. So what we're saying to you listeners now is please get in contact with us, because we'd love to know who you are. So some of the areas. So our top area is Manchester, unsurprisingly, but the second one is New York, not the Big Apple. It's in North Tyneside. Now, I don't know anybody from there.
Me either.
I didn't even know there was a New York in North Tyneside. So that's our second biggest area. Then Burton-on-Trent in Staffordshire. I used to live in Staffordshire, but that's when I was married. So I've not kept in contact with anybody from there, apart from one person on Facebook, but he's just had a baby, so I'm sure he's not listening. Sheffield. I don't know anyone in Sheffield. Stockport, we do. Gillingham in Kent. Definitely don't know anyone from Kent. Liverpool. I might know a couple of people from Liverpool, but no one who I thought would listen. London, Birmingham, Swadlincote in Derbyshire. Do you know people in Derbyshire?
Few, not really that area.
Rochdale, Leeds, Fareham in Hampshire, Tottenham in Haringey, Walthamstow, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Wolverhampton, Crawley, Durban, which I think is in South Africa, which is blowing my mind that anyone from South Africa would listen to this. Nelson in Lancashire, North Ayrshire, Pontypridd, and Blackwood, both in South Wales, which is where I'm from, but my family don't live there. So I don't know. Maybe not. And my family, I don't even think, listen to this pod. Penzance in Cornwall, Portsmouth, Newport, Alberta. Do you know where Alberta is?
Canada.
Is it?
I believe so.
Okay. Perth, Australia, Darlington, Hamilton, Bristol, Lambeth, Southampton. And there, that takes us down to people that have only listened once. So all those people have listened. A lot of them have listened twice. Quite a few of them have listened 3 times. Loads of them 4 times. And a few 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 24. Like pretty, yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you to everyone.
Yeah, thank you for listening. I can't believe people listen to our little pod, which is just me and you doing our little thing on it should be a Sunday morning. So please do a shout. We're doing a shout out. We want you to come say hello on our Insta page, which will be on. There'll be a link on the podcast. I think there is a link, is there, Sam?
That's right. Yeah, there's already a link on the podcast, but we are going to set up the Facebook group that we've been talking about as well. So that'll be ready for when this episode goes out. So come and say hello on there as well. It'll be very organic, so bear with us, but at least we can have a place where we can all connect, because, you know, this is all about really connecting with people that are interested in the same stuff that we're interested in. So come and say hello. Tell us about your manifestation fails. Tell us about your manic manifesting, and, you know, we can learn from you as well. That'd be really nice to connect over these things.
That'd be good. Then people telling us what they, have manifested or haven't manifested.
Absolutely, that would be so cool to hear about.
It would be anything like law of attraction, manifestation related. I love listening to people like talking about things like that. It's so interesting.
So there we go. That was episode 11, I think. So
11. Yeah. What are we going to talk about on the next one, Sam? If we talked about this, what are we going to do next time?
Actually plan ahead for the next topic, did we? Well, we'll think about it, and if you've got any ideas of what you want us to talk about in the next podcast, put it in the Facebook group.
That is really good. That would be so cool. Right, somebody give us something you want us to talk about next time. Maybe if Abby's listening, because she's reached out once, she could do it again. Give us a subject and we'll talk about it. It would be quite nice for someone else to pick it, wouldn't it?
It would actually. It'd be really cool. Brilliant. Okay, watch this space. We will see you in a few weeks' time. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Manifestation Pod with me, Sam Fillingham, and Louise Marshall. Please follow, subscribe, and rate our pod. Share with friends to support two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives.